Hello learner, greetings of the day. Welcome to my video lecture on computer networks and security with the subject code 18CS52. In this video, I will be discussing about some of the observation made on TCP congestion control. In the last video, we have seen how exactly TCP implements congestion control. The discussion will be continuation to that particular concept. TCP congestion control retrospective. If you observe the TCP congestion control mechanism, it is referred as an additive increase, multiplicative decrease form of congestion control. That means whenever TCP is in the congestion avoidance phase, the congestion window increases linearly. That means 1 MSS per RTT, and whenever there is a congestion, whenever there is a timeout or triple duplicate acknowledgement is received, then the congestion window will be reduced to half. So if you observe the graph which is drawn between congestion window and time, you can see the congestion window decreases and increases, and it provides a sawtooth behavior. And again, it also implements bandwidth probing. That means the congestion window increases till it occupies the available bandwidth. And whenever there is a congestion, the congestion window will be decreased so that it can control the congestion in the network. That is why we can say that TCP congestion control implements additive increase and multiplicative decrease form of congestion control. We have seen two variations or versions of TCP, that is TCP Tahoe and TCP Reno. TCP Reno is the one of the new version of TCP. Even in the TCP Reno, there are different versions. One of the TCP Reno version is TCP Vegas algorithm, which is defined in 1995 by some of the researchers, which attempts to avoid congestion while maintaining the good throughput. That means it concentrate on providing good throughput for the TCP. The basic idea is it detects the congestion in the router between source and destination before packet loss occurs, so that the throughput can be increased. And lower the rate linearly when it lowers the rate linearly when this imminent packet loss is detected, and this loss of packet is predicted by observing the RTT. So here the observation is longer the RTT of the packets, the greater the congestion in the router. For example, if the RTT is more, then it thinks that there is a congestion and it reduces the rate. That is why in Vegas, TCP Vegas, it observes the congestion based upon the length of the RTT. The Linux system supports a number of congestion control algorithms, including TCP Reno and TCP Vegas. It allows a system administrator to configure which version of TCP will be used. That means Linux can be configured so that we can choose with the TCP Reno and TCP Vegas based upon the requirement. The default version of TCP in Linux version 2.6.18 was set to cubic. So which is one of the version of TCP which is developed for high bandwidth applications. Now we will see how we can able to identify the throughput in terms of TCP connection. During a particular round trip interval, the rate at which TCP sends data is a function of congestion window and the current RTT. So that's what we have seen in the last discussion. If I consider the window size is W bytes and the current round trip time is RTT, then the TCP transmission rate will be roughly W by RTT. That means W here, W is the congestion window size and round trip time is the RTT. That's the time required for transferring the uh, window size amount of data. So the transmission rate is nothing but congestion window divided by round trip time, that is W by RTT. TCP then probes for additional bandwidth by increasing the W by 1 MSS each RTT. That means it tries to increase the rate so that it can occupy the available bandwidth by increasing linearly by 1 MSS for each RTT until there is a loss of event or loss event occurs. That means loss of data whenever it observes the loss of packet. We think that capital W is the value of new window size whenever there is a loss event. That means whenever there is a loss event, obviously the window size will be decreased. We consider the new window size as capital W. Assuming that RTT and capital W are approximately constant over the duration of the connection, the TCP transmission rate ranges from W by 2 RTT to W by RTT. That means half W by RTT to 1 W RTT. Now we will be considering the average of this. So the average throughput of connection is given by 0.75 into W by RTT. That is nothing but average of this value. Average of this value we have considered as throughput of the TCP connection. The study has shown different throughput for high bandwidth path. Whenever we consider high bandwidth path, we will be sending more amount of segment for each RTT. So here we consider one more parameter whenever we consider the throughput, that is loss rate. The loss rate is nothing but how much amount of segment is lost for each group of segment. That is called as loss rate. So if you consider capital L is the loss rate and RTT is the round trip time and the MSS is maximum segment size, then average throughput is given by 1.22 into 1 MSS divided by RTT into square root of loss rate. This is the calculated average throughput for high bandwidth. Now we will see how exactly TCP congestion control maintains average transmission rate among multiple TCP connections over a bottleneck link. Consider the link capacity is R as given in the diagram. The link capacity is R. That means this particular link connects from two different TCP connections. We have two TCP connections, TCP connection 1 and TCP connection 2, and both TCP connections send a large amount of data to this bottleneck router with the capacity R. Now a congestion control mechanism can be said to be fair enough if this amount of capacity, that is R, is divided fairly with the available connection. So in our case we have two connections. So if the available rate for each connection is R by 2, then we can say that the congestion control mechanism had given the transmission rate fairly among two connections. If we have k number of connection, if the available rate is for all the connection is R by k, then we can say that the congestion control maintains fair among all the transmission connection TCP connections. For example, in this we have considered two TCP connection. If you observe the graph, the throughput falls somewhere near the intersection of the equal bandwidth share line and the full bandwidth utilization line. So that means the x-axis we have considered connection 1 throughput and y-axis we have considered connection 2 throughput. And both the connection can send the data till R, that is the capacity. So if you observe the diagonal line, it is in the 45 degree, that means it is the equal bandwidth share. And if you consider this particular line, that is the full bandwidth utilization line. Now consider both the connections will send equal amount of data to the link, and initially both the connection will be in this particular point, that is A, and it will start increase the rate whenever there is no congestion, and both the connection will increase the rate until it reaches B. Whenever it reaches point B, both the connection observes that there is some loss of data, and eventually it reduces the rate to half and it reaches to this particular point, that is C. And again it start increasing the rate by observing the link, and it reaches to point D, and it continues like this. So here you can say that bandwidth realized by two connections eventually fluctuate along the equal bandwidth share line. So we can say that TCP congestion control mechanism provides a fair distribution of transmission rate and the throughput. Because of additive increase and multiplicative decrease nature of TCP congestion control, some of the applications like multimedia applications such as internet phone and video conferencing prefer UDP because these applications require constant rate. But in TCP you can see that whenever there is a congestion, the rate reduces, and whenever there is a normal flow of data, the rate increases up to some threshold. That is why these applications prefer UDP over TCP, and UDP does not have built-in congestion control. From the perspective of TCP, the multimedia applications running over UDP are not fair enough because they do not cooperate with the other connections nor adjust their transmission rate appropriately. That is why the multimedia applications uses UDP for its data transmission. The fairness in TCP congestion control does not work all the time. One scenario is where the TCP fairness does not work is whenever there is a parallel TCP connection. When an application uses multiple parallel connection, it gets a larger fraction of the bandwidth in a congested link. For example, consider a link of rate R supporting 9 ongoing client server application with each of application using one TCP connection. That means each application gets R by 9 rate. If a new application comes along and also uses one TCP connection, then each application gets approximately the same transmission rate, that is R by 10. But if this new application instead uses 11 parallel TCP connection, then the new application gets an unfair allocation of more than R by 2. So that is why we can say that the fairness in the TCP does not work all the time. This finishes our discussion on TCP congestion control. We have seen how exactly TCP has implemented its congestion control mechanism by using 3 different phases, and we have also seen some of the observation made on TCP congestion control based upon the versions of TCP and its fairness and the comparison with UDP and TCP. So thank you for watching. We will meet in the next video.